Joe Cerrone. Welcome to CAD 230 Introduction to Solidworks and our weekly Zoom classroom meeting. Module 3 is due at 11:59 p.m. tonight. I went and created a video for the bottle exercise. There was some anomalies with the video, so I went and redid that. So if you do want the bonus points for that, you can take a look at it, and it's there. I've released Module 4 last week, and then Module 5 for tonight. Okay, what's due today under content? Module 3 is revolve and mirror features, where we created these basic parts and revolved them. You get to do the multiple choice and the volume quizzes. Bottle geometry is right here, and the chapter information is here from a previous textbook. Module 4, we covered last week, is over shell, extrude, taper, and rib features. And we just have these two basic parts plus our bonus part. And so we have this part here that is created with rib features and shells. And then I put this bonus exercise in kind of as a fun exercise with this socket wrench, which is from Elgin Community College. And that's where I picked up my Solidworks skills back about 10 years ago. So they have a really strong program out at Elgin. They have some great manufacturing courses there as well, and a lot of the teachers have worked together. So it's kind of an interesting assignment. Back to the Module 4. And then today we're releasing Module 5, which is on patterns, shells, mirrors, and array features. So you're required to do 5A, 5B, and 5C. We made 5D bonus, and we'll work with linear, circular, and variable patterns. Videos are located right here, 5A, 5B, and 5C. Don't forget the multiple choice quiz and the volume. And if you do see any anomalies on those things, let me know and I'll correct those. And also, if you do need an extension, because as things get busy, it's Valentine's Day, you can just email me and request an extension. And if it's a valid reason, it's kind of a normal thing. It does happen. You do want to try to get these things in on time, but it's not unusual in business to be able to ask for an extension for something because it's got to be right and you have to have the time to do it. And all these things take time. Look at the parts for Module 5. Our first exercise, which will be this linear pattern. Start off with basically a base shape from a sketch, 9.5 by 5 inches, which will extrude. Add a feature to that. It kind of looks like an ice cube holder to me. Then we'll pattern that using this linear pattern. And we'll go along the x-axis and the y-axis. Where you can double click on these features, hit the feature, you can make some changes to it if we needed to. Typically we'll add fillets to everything, round off the corners, and that's the first lab. Second lab, it's gear. Start off with a basic circular shape. We'll revolve this around this construction line. Once we revolve that, create this geometry on this face with this cut extrude. The circular pattern. Then we'll add the keyway. Thought this was an interesting shape. Start off with this basic shape. Revolve it about the axes. Add an additional sketch to it. And a cut revolve. This geometry right here. This is our whole geometry. Circular pattern. A new plane. Extrude. Turn again. And then we'll add fillets. Soften up the part. And then lastly, curve-driven pattern. This is not required. Go through and we'll create these different hole features. The sketch geometry is in D2L for this, so you don't have to draw this, but you're welcome to draw it. The hole wizard to add a hole. Or sink. Curve-driven pattern. Assignments matched to the textbook. Solidworks Basics, Chapter 7. And then as we look at the D2L system, we're in week number 5, lab number 5. And so as we go through and we progress with the course, if you look under the content area, plan is to work on Module 5 this week, Module 6 next week, which will be part configurations, And then we'll start getting ready for the midterm. And so I have a midterm practice test that I released today. And it's not a practice test, it's just midterm practice. These are CSWA practice problems. And they're relatively straightforward. And so if we start to think about where we're going to be, we'll work on these different parts throughout February. And then in March, first week in March, I believe we'll be ready for the midterm exam. Basically, what we'll do is we'll model these different parts, we'll assign materials to them, and we'll calculate out their mass properties. There's information on those different labs and those practice problems here. So this is in one of these older CSWA exam books. The new one as well. I just like the old one sometimes. All right. So that's our Zoom recap of what we're working on this week. I'm going to stop the recording, post it, and open things up for questions.